in association with different educational institutions and published selected research papers as journal special issues and book proceedings. Society is running international level referred, peer-reviewed journals with ISSN and books publication with ISBN. Educational institutions, colleges, universities are being welcomed for Memorandum of Understanding and collaboration to organize events. Society is promoting and sponsoring educational events as well as publishing research work in collaboration. Society also offers membership. The journals associated with Research Culture Society referred, indexed and with high impact factor. Society journals are publishing research papers, articles in all fields and subjects related to sciences, health sciences, engineering, agriculture, pharmacy, commerce, management, social sciences, arts, humanities, education, law and life skills. Research Culture Society also publishes book in both print and online with ISBN. It will also be a co-sponsor for organizing conferences and seminars. Research Culture Society also provides print and online book publications with ISBN. Society invites book publication in all study subjects and categories, thesis converted into book and conference proceedings publication also available. We arrange special lectures on soft skills, communication skills, personality development, behavior improvement, human resource development, career development, general knowledge improvement, environmental issues and improvement etc. in different institutions, colleges, universities and schools. We organize excellence and achievement awards in different categories, RCS awards, SRA awards. We do evaluation and accreditation of educational institutions with grade system. We arrange competitions on research in science and technology, general and technical knowledge in colleges and schools. For further inquiries and details, visit our webpage www.researchculturesociety.org. Thank you all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Javed, now you can proceed.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, one and all. How are you? Okay.
Good, sir. Hope you are also good.
Yeah, we're good. We're starting our second session today. The title of this session is Meets, Media and Representation. Yesterday we saw two models of semiotics, one by Saussure and another by Peirce. Today we'll be looking at the third model of semiotics, which is called the model of meet, okay, which is proposed by Roland Barthes. This model of meet is based on Saussure's model of sign, because Roland Barthes was also French and he developed another model based on what Saussure proposed. Okay, so today we will first talk about Roland Barthes' model, then we will also talk about what is media and medium and what are the different issues related with representation. I hope I am audible to all of us. So we begin,
Yes,
we begin with the Roland Barthes model of meet. Okay. Roland Barthes is in our academic field is known for his article Death of an Author. So apart from that article, Roland Barthes' another important contribution is his model of meet, where he brought in the concept of ideology in the semiotics. And apart from these three, Roland Barthes also developed a narrative course, which is also one of the most important contribution of Roland Barthes. Here we will be looking at the concept of meet developed by Roland Barthes. So let's begin. This is the picture of Roland Barthes. what he said is, we use signs, okay, and we use that sign to describe the world. Okay, we want to talk about certain thing, we want to describe something, we want to talk about our emotions. That's why we use signs, words, and we feel that the function of sign is to denote the world, that whatever the basic meaning that we want to convey is being denoted with the help of words and signs. So its function is to authentically represent the world as it is. Okay, this is what we believe. Okay, and this is, with this belief we try and use the sign. Okay, but these signs are constructed, they are conventionally constructed by the society, and they are arbitrary. That is, there is no natural relationship between the sign, the signifier, and the concept that sign refers to, and that means the sign is non-natural. Okay, then how come we can represent the world quite authentically as it is? Because while representing the world, we tend to represent our biases, our ideologies, and how we see the world, because our science system is based on our experience and ideology. And this is where the Roland Barthes model starts. I'll give you an example. If you see this, okay, we use such pictures on WhatsApp and Instagram. Okay, this particular picture signifies love. Okay, it is about say love between two people. Okay, then we also use such red rose or pink rose as a symbol of love, and if we want to propose someone, we give that person a rose, or when we want to express our feelings for our better half, we give them roses. Okay, so this is how we express our love for the people. Similarly, this is also one sign of love, but this is normally taken as one-sided love, that someone is say in love with someone one-sidedly, the other person doesn't know about it. Okay, and the this is, let's say it is a physical love. Okay, but there are different stages, different meanings of the concept of love. Okay, and in order to express only one concept of love, we are using all these different signs, and we don't have any problem in understanding the concept of love. But do you believe that all these symbols basically is about sign? If you look at the dictionary, okay, these things have a different meaning, but we in process use it differently. So here comes what Roland Barthes says, the difference between denotation and connotation. So denotation is something that is literal, dictionary meaning. Okay, right? So there is more than just denotative meaning. When we use the language, it's not just denotative meaning. For example, rose according to dictionary is a flower, or heart according to dictionary is a body organ. Okay, so this is your rose, flower, this is your heart, a body organ. Okay, this is the dictionary understanding. Okay, but when we use the language, when we use the signs, we use a connotative meaning. Okay, these extended meaning, like we use rose to extend the meaning of love. Okay, it is called connotative meaning. Okay, we use rose to signify love or to signify beauty. Okay, so when you hear the word rose, what comes into your mind first? Probably you may reminded of someone whom you love. Okay, or something very beautiful. Okay, so this is how the connotation is created. Okay, it's not a literal meaning, but it is socially acceptable extension of the meaning. Okay. Now, for me, for example, if someone uses the word rose, it reminds me of say the heroine of Titanic. Her name was Rose in the movie. Okay, so for me the word rose has a different meaning. Or if we look at the word like heart, okay, it also means love or beloved person. Okay, like we we call them sweetheart. Okay, so because that person is our beloved person, we like that person. Okay, so we give them the position of a heart, the kind of position the heart has in our body. The person has equivalent position in our life, and that's why we compare that person with the heart, and we many times use the word like heart for them. So here in this case, connotative meaning will have a second level of meaning. Okay, so when its first order, love, rose is just a rose, a flower. Its second level, rose becomes love. It's a symbol of love. Okay. Heart was an organ, but its second level, heart becomes a symbol of love. Okay. And combining these two, okay, okay, Barthes calls this social phenomena the bringing together of signs. We put these signs together and their connotation to shape a new meaning, a particular meaning. Okay. This meaning is associated with the ideology of the society, ideology of the person, and that is why Barthes call it the myth. It is not just ideology, it is a myth. It is not real. And in this case, like for heart and for rose, we have already accepted a myth of this kind of use. Okay, like we use happy Valentine's Day, we use different types of flowers, different types of balloons. Okay, we use various cards where the red color and hearts and roses are used to convey our feelings, okay, for another person. Okay. This is the symbolic message. Okay, and this message is understood by the other person as well. Okay, like if you people have experience of Valentine's Day, and the kind of days people celebrate in the colleges and schools, like there was a day like chocolate day. So every chocolate has a meaning. Like there is a chocolate, if you give that chocolate to someone, that means that that person is your friend. If you give that certain chocolate to someone, it means that person is your enemy. If you give certain chocolate to someone, it means that person, you like that person. So all these chocolate days and rose days, all these things have certain meaning now. They are constructed in that way that we associate meaning. So this is what Barthes called meat. Okay. So there is a rose. Okay, there is a signifier rose, which means the concept is rose. But when you combine these two, okay, the sign is love. So rose becomes the sign of love. This is the first level of meaning. Okay. So Barthes call it the meaning is the level of language. Okay. But at the second level, this particular love is associated with something that is tangible, like you use bouquets and chocolates and balloons, okay, in order to celebrate a particular day. Okay. So celebration of that day in the name of love is what Barthes call meat. Okay. So we have accepted a meat, okay, where the basic ideology is consumerism. Okay, like if you ask yourself that is it okay for us to celebrate only one day for love? Okay. Because love is something that is part of our life. You cannot survive without love. So celebrating one day of love is a kind of understatement. But this celebration is happening because this celebration is associated with consumerism. You will buy these roses and bouquet and flowers and gifts, and you arrange the parties. So all these things are happening because it is basically a market driven process. Okay. So this is what Barthes call meat. This is the ideology of consumerism. Okay. So Barthes uses this particular model, that there is a signifier and there is a signified. As Saussure says, the combination of signifier and signified makes a sign. Okay. So that is your level of language. What Saussure said, the same thing. But in the second level, that sign itself becomes signifier. Okay, it is not just a sign, but it represents something else. Okay, it represents some other ideology, some other thing. Okay, so that is what we call signified. Okay, and combining the second level of signifier and signified, when we put them together, it becomes a meat. It's a second level of sign. Okay, and we always practice the second level of sign at certain level of ideological representation. Myth, as Bart says, is not an innocent language, but one that picks up existing sign, like uh, the conventional sign that rose is associated with love, or heart is associated with love. In our language also we use metaphors, okay, in that way. So the myth takes those metaphors and they create another order purposefully to play a particular social role. Okay, and that is why it is very important for us to understand that mythic process. Yes, the celebration of birthdays is also a type of consumerism. Okay, that you could have celebrated without buying expensive gifts and products. Okay, you could have celebrated your birthday by let's say helping some poor people. That is also a possibility, but we prefer a party and expensive gifts. Okay, and there are plenty of uh, cards available, and they are very expensive. There are plenty of bouquets, different types of bouquets are available, they are also very expensive. So this is one level where the ideology of consumerism is becoming powerful in our society through all these different signs. So myth, it does not hide reality. It is there. We can see the reality, but it responds in a very distorted manner. Okay, that if you interpret, if you try to interpret, then you can understand that yes, it is uh, a kind of myth. It is not reality. Okay, like people, like we had an advertisement in uh, Indian news, Indian cinema, and Indian TV of prestige cooker. Okay, it says that जो बीवी से करे प्यार वो prestige से कैसे करे इनकार. Okay, it's a very interesting advertisement. But what happens that your love for your spouse is equivalent to a tangible thing. That means if you are not buying this prestige cooker for your wife, you don't love your wife. Okay. This is the implication that this advertisement has created for us. Okay, so this is where the ideology comes. This is where the consumerism comes. Okay, that you have to prove your love by buying these products for your wife, for your girlfriend, or for your husband. Okay, if you don't do that, that means you don't love them. Okay, so this is where your love is the criteria of your love becomes the consumerism. So it normalizes the ideology that buying products, buying gifts is normal. Okay, that becomes a myth. We tend to accept and follow it. We don't question it. Okay, अरे birthday में जाना है तो gift क्यों ले जाना है? We never question it. Okay, because it is a norm, it's a rule. Okay, and we believe that it's natural. सालों से लोग कर रहे हैं तो we must do that. It is natural. Okay, but it may change. Okay, we have to start somewhere, that we start doing that thing in a different way, so that people understand that the same thing can be celebrated or can be conveyed in a different way as well. Okay. So here the myth that we are celebrating is the Valentine's Day, for example. Okay, that we have restricted our celebration of love on one day, and that celebration is also very materialistic. Okay, if you don't give certain things, to your lover, to your spouse, okay, then probably you don't love them. This is the kind of meaning the Valentine's Day has created. Okay, Father Valentine never talked about gifting something to your girlfriends or something to your wife. Okay. But his concept of love has made materialistic now. Okay. It is not, there is nothing wrong in celebration of love. The wrong thing is your love is mapped on the materialistic things. This is where the meat comes. So I'll give you example now. You have done this exercise yesterday, okay, and I have put a simple question to that. Okay, now today I'll go with this again. See, what do you see? There is a white background, young women standing. Okay, she's wearing a kind of red dupatta, as if she is a superwoman, like Superman had this kind of red dupatta and he used to fly. Okay. She's wearing a sari, two bangles, probably golden bangles in both, each one. She's wearing half-sleeved uh, blouse. Her hair is open, and the camera angle from which the picture is taken is lower. Okay, that as if you as a reader is below her. She is above you, superior to you, and you are the inferior person to you. This is what we can see from this particular picture. Now I have two questions. What is the signifier in this image? If you take the entire image as one sign, then what is the signifier? The modern Indian women, especially the modern Indian housewife. This is the signifier. What is the signified? The signified is the modern Indian housewife is a superwoman. Okay. She is educated. Okay. She has modern ideology. She is probably working as well. She is doing all the household work. Okay. So she maintains her professional and personal life so well, so balanced manner that only superhumans can do that. This is the signified. This is the message. The first level message is this. Okay, but this is the first level. Now this is, if I use the same thing in denotative and connotation, then whatever we said in signifier uh, and the meaning that just I conveyed, that what are the possible meanings. She is modern, she is working, she is handling the house effectively, so she is like a superwoman. Okay. So this is the denotative meaning. This is the first meaning that we are gaining, and that the advertisers want us to believe. Okay, this is the first level. Okay, but if you go into the connotations of this, okay, that is, if you start analyzing at the different level, okay, then the first question should come to our mind is, okay, why does someone need to put this in advertisement? Okay. Please don't write anything on the screen. Okay, yeah, thank you. So here the connotation is that we are trying to satisfy a woman's ego by putting a kind of idealized picture. Okay. We don't say that if she is working, the man should also participate in household work. Okay. If women is working and she is doing household work, then men should also help her in household work. Both of you are working. Okay. So if you are talking about gender equality, you equal not only professionally but also personally in the house. But this advertisement wants to convey that household work is the job of the women. So that is why she is superwoman. Okay, fine. So this is what we call the meat. Okay. This is a kind of ideology, patriarchal ideology, that they give you a kind of feel good message that, oh, you are doing amazing work, but they are not trying to give you the message that no, we are there with you and we will help you. So this myth of, say, modern and superior women is created. Okay, it is a myth, it is not reality. If we see around us, and most of you have experience in your personal life, okay, that though you are working, okay, almost all the household work is done by you. There's very little help from your spouse. Okay, fine. So this myth of modern women, okay, that no matter how modern you are, no matter how educated you are, no matter what good job you are doing, the household work is your work. Okay. So this is the myth being created by our advertisements. Okay. If you remember yesterday's advertisement about uh, the washing powder Tide, okay, there were 4 pictures, there were 5 women, but there is not a single male, which implies that this job of doing the washing of the clothes is the job of the women. Male will not come there. Okay, so this is also a kind of myth. Okay, and that myth comes from patriarchy. The ideology is the patriarchy. Okay, it's not that the modernism or presenting women in a particular way. Like we always say that in India we have, in Manusmriti says yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. But do we really worship our women? Okay, so that particular part is missing. Okay, so you are saying one thing, your denotation is different, you are doing another thing. It's social level. So that is the connotative function. Okay, so this thing is what Barth calls the ideology or myth. Now I give you another one. Yesterday I have given you another exercise. It is still here. Okay, almost all of us have seen this movie. Okay, and a very entertaining film. But if you see this particular picture, okay, the signifier, okay, that that is a hero who is a police officer. Okay, the signified is he's a brave person. You can see a lion behind. Okay, so lion is a symbol of the valor. Okay, very powerful, very courageous person. Okay, so this person is visually compared with the lions, because there are 3 lions and there are 3 faces of the protagonist. And if you see, the camera angle is still low. Okay, that he is considered superior, and it appears that there is a light going from down. Okay, if you see the shadow, okay, then light is put down in front of the protagonist and it is going up, and these 3 lions in the background, they are nothing but the shadow of this protagonist picture. Okay, so all 3 are lions which are compared with these 3 heads of the protagonist. Okay, so this is the very simple signifier and signified. A sign is created here. Okay, I'm not going into the uh, language that they have used right now. I'm just giving the idea of the picture. Okay, then this is the denotative meaning, dictionary meaning. In a simple way, we can see that connotation is the police officers are very courageous people and they always stand for the constitution and nation. Okay, because the shadow is nothing but national emblem. Okay, it's a national symbol. Okay, though, so that also means at the connotative level that the police officers are the representative of the nationality, patriotism. Okay, so does it create any myth? Yes, it does create a myth. What kind of myth it creates? It creates the myth that whatever police is doing, is in the national interest and out of patriotism. Okay, so the myth denies any involvement of police officers into any corrupt or illegal activities or anything that is antisocial. Okay, so that means that all the police officers across the country, they are all equivalent to what Bajirao Singham stands for. Okay, patriotic, moralistic, ethically correct protagonist. He is there to save the citizens of the country and the nationality. Okay. So this is the ideology coming from toxic nationalism, or what we call pseudo nationalism. Okay. Because by developing this ideology, they create a kind of atmosphere where you cannot question the police force and whatever they are doing. Okay. And this is where, and in last 20 years, there has been a lot of movies where you find these kind of patriotic police officers. So they create a kind of myth where all the police officers are ethically correct and uh, nationalistically perfect. Okay. So they are true patriots. Okay. You cannot question them. You cannot question their did whatever they are doing is for national interest. They are always correct. So this is the myth. You cannot question it. Okay. Yes. So this is what Barth's idea is, that at certain level there is one what we call literal meaning. Okay, what he calls denotative meaning. But when you go into the depth of the images and the language that we are using, the science that we are using, you interpret it further from the perspective of an ideology, you will find out different hidden meanings. Okay. And those hidden meanings will create the myth, will tell you that no, it is not just a simple picture, or it is not just a simple statement. Okay. So we'll move forward. Okay, let's move forward. uh, Someone is so do you have any doubt about the idea of myth? Because I'm moving to the next topic, that is textual politics. uh, or you can write down your questions somewhere, and in the end when we discuss, we can discuss all together, because most of you have the repetitive kind of questions, so we can discuss all of them together. All right. um, so textual politics, what is textual politics? If you are aware, and if you are say tech savvy and using social media, there is a lot of discussion right now going between TikTok versus YouTube, that what is better. Okay. And there is Carrie Minati, who is roasting TikTok users, and then there is Kunal Kamra, who is helping or supporting TikTok users and all. So it is just about uh, the use of social media. Is it just about the content that they are creating? Okay. There is a politics behind it. Okay. YouTube is a kind of platform that if you want to develop a kind of content for YouTube, yes, Singham is a pick. I will come back again in the end. Right now we'll go with the flow. Please write down somewhere so we can discuss. You remind me this question again. Okay. Jaita ji, please. Okay, so when we are talking about YouTube, when you want to produce or when you want to prepare a content for YouTube, you require good mic qualities, you require good cameras, you require a lot of uh, what we call programs, animation programs and all, so that you can prepare a good YouTube video. Okay, you require high speed internet connection, maybe Wi-Fi and all, so that you can create a good content and upload it on YouTube. So basically, in order to do good YouTube content, you should be say pre-equipped with certain things. Okay, that means you need to have money to do good YouTube videos. Okay, you need to you need to buy good quality mics, you need to buy good quality cameras, you need to develop some sort of studio, then you can create good content. But in order to create TikTok, what you need a phone, a smartphone, and you need to download an application, and that's all. Okay, the rest of the things are given by the TikTok. So you, for using YouTube, you need to have money, you should be economically better. Well, in order to use TikTok, okay, even if you are economically poor, okay, you can use it. Okay, if you have say Oppo Vivo mobile of 8,000 9,000, and most of the companies now give cheap data, okay, so you can do it. So this is where the class conflicts come, because YouTubers are worried about the content that they are creating, because there is a tough competition to them in the name of TikTok. Okay. So this is a basically class war, and that is also happening in larger industries also. Like there was a time in India where there was parallel cinema. Okay, like Ritvik Ghatak, Guljar, Sampat Swaroop, Mrinal Sen, they were all making small budget films. Okay, they did not have much money. Okay. And on the other hand, there were studios like Manmohan Desai, GP Sippy, and they were all rich people, Mansoor Khan and all. Okay. So they were making big budget movies with Amitabh Bachchan, Rajesh Khanna and all, while those parallel cinema, they are making small budget movies. Now, because they are making small budget movies, there was no one to buy it. So those movies never come to the theater. So what they try to do is they ask these big budget filmmakers that they make a kind of contract with the what we call publishers, that when they buy a big budget movie, they also buy a small budget movie, and they give one show to that small budget movie in the cinema. But this contract, this kind of idea was opposed by the superstars of the time, including Amitabh Bachchan and Rajesh Khanna. Okay. And because of that thing, India never had the parallel movement. All over the world, there is avant-garde cinema, you have neo-noir cinema, and all the different types of ideological films available. India, no. So all those parallel cinema was either released by NFDC or by the director himself. Okay. So because of that reason, very, very good films never reached the audience. Okay. Fine. So this is again a kind of class war. Okay. So here, how text is coming into the market is very important. Okay. And this is where the concept of medium comes. What is text? Okay. So text is something that can be read, that can be observed, that can be seen. Okay. And another important thing is text is anything that can send message without the presence of the encoder of the message. When we talk face to face, it is not a text. It is communication, it is speaking. But I have written a book and I published it. So when you are reading the book, I am not present. Or I made a movie, and when you are watching the movie, I'm not present there. So the movie becomes a text. I take a picture. When you are seeing the picture, I'm not present to convey the message. I'm not there to explain you what I want to say. Okay. So as an audience, you have to develop your own explanation. You'll have to decode on your own. Fine. So this is where the text comes. Okay. So if we can identify the right text and decode it well, okay, then we can understand a lot of things underlying in the text. Okay. So decoding or reading of the text is very important. But what is the medium? How does the text reach you? It is very important. Okay. The meaning of text is based on the context. Okay. In which context you have referred to that text. Okay. Suppose I tell you that I'll meet you tomorrow. Okay. Now that means, Okay, or I send you a message that I'll meet you tomorrow. That means we have an appointment and we are meeting. But someone who whom you are indebted to, okay, like you have taken 5,000 rupees from me, okay, and I'll send you a message, I'll meet you tomorrow. Okay, then you will understand the meaning of the text is that keep my money ready. So depending on the context, your text meaning will change, your interpretation will change. So every text is a product of society. Okay. All the signs, codes, symbols we use, they come from the society. Okay. And that is why as a social individual, we are capable of understanding and what we call making sense of the text. Okay. So we move to the next concept. It is called medium is message. Have you heard the name of Marshall McLuhan? Marshall McLuhan was the Canadian communication guru, and the very field of uh, what we call media studies, the very field of media studies is developed by uh, Marshall McLuhan. He wrote a book called Medium is Message, and that was his one of the most important arguments. And after that, he wrote Media Hot and Cool, The Mechanical Bride, and Gutenberg Galaxy. All his books are about different forms of media. Okay, so what his argument is that the medium in which you receive the message will also affect the interpretation of the message. Okay, fine. We'll move forward. I'll give you examples. So media can be divided into three basic categories, okay, which are the mediums we use in our day-to-day life. So first, natural medium, okay, that is which ideas are transmitted in some biologically based way. For example, voice, I am speaking, you are listening, it's a natural medium. Gestures, hand gesture, posture, okay, they are also natural medium. And facial expressions, okay, different facial expressions convey different meanings. So all these are called natural mediums. Okay, that for that you don't have to develop any other medium. Your body, yourself is the medium. Okay, this is the first type. I can give you more example of these facial expression. Okay, and we do it almost unconsciously. Okay, we express ourselves physically almost unconsciously, and that's why psychologists study our body language. It conveys a lot about ourselves. Okay, so you have a lot of and the emojis are basically the kind of signifiers or icons created from our facial expressions. The second type is artificial medium. Artificial medium is one by which ideas are represented and transmitted by means of some artifact, something created. Okay, it is not natural. For example, we print books, we write something and somebody reads, or we make statues, sculptures, okay, and people see and get the meaning, or different types of paintings. So these are called artificial mediums. They are created by humans. Okay, so they are artificial. And the third type is mechanical medium, is one by which ideas are transmitted by means of mechanical invention. For example, we have telephones and mobiles, TV, radio, internet. These are all mechanical mediums, computers. Okay. So what McLuhan says, that the medium we use to convey our message also affects the masses. The medium plays a very important role. And this is where his primary argument is. And even in our case, like we want to say something, what kind of medium we are using? Like you want to ask for a favor, so will you use a request or will you use an order? Okay, if I say please open the door, this is the request. But if I say open the door, this is an order. So depending on your what we call listener, interlocutor, your message will be affected, okay, because you are using different medium. For example, you must have seen such kind of pictures on social media. This is the statement from Abraham Lincoln. The problem with quotes found on the internet is that they are not true. Okay. This is the quotation from Sun Tzu. Go for the small thermal exhaust pot right below the main pot. Sun Tzu was a very important Chinese philosopher. This is the statement by George Washington. Don't believe in everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture with a quote next to it. Or this is one quotation from Albert Einstein. People should examine the veracity of the quote they like and share on Facebook. This can keep you from looking like a dumbass. We all know that these are all wrong. All these quotations, all four quotations that I've given, they are wrong. Abraham Lincoln or Sun Tzu or Einstein or Washington never said this. They never wrote this. Okay. Still, people use this kind of quotation, like there is some good message, what we call inspirational message, and with that message there will be picture of Mahatma Gandhi or APJ Abdul Kalam or some other, say Martin Luther King or Che Guevara. Okay. Now they might not have written it. So why people put the pictures there? Why would they like to create the impression that this is spoken by this person? Here comes the idea of medium. If you see the name of the important person, you will take the quotation more seriously. If you see the picture of important person, you take the quotation more seriously. So this is where your medium, what you are using with it, is important. Recently, 2-3 days back, a very famous Gujarati critic, he wrote on Facebook that Derrida says that philosophy is nothing but love for wisdom. Okay. Now he is a learned scholar, he is a retired professor, but he is still making a misquote. He is, because Derrida never talked about it. In none of his writing, he talked about wisdom for love. Sorry, love for wisdom. In fact, this statement was actually used by Plato in his Republic, where he was defining philosophy. The word philosophy literally means love for wisdom. Sophy means love. Philo means wisdom. Okay. So this thing, but he is using the name of Derrida. Why? Because he wanted to convey that he understands Derrida. He understands post-structural philosophy. He understands complex philosophical and literary ideas. Okay. So this is where the medium becomes important. Your medium becomes your message. Okay, that you wanted to convey a myth of being intelligent, a myth of being well-read. Okay, and that is happening with this kind of quotations as well. Okay, there is one more example for medium is message. We all watch movies. Okay, if I ask you on which platform or how do you watch the movie? Okay, do you watch the movie in 5D cinema multiplexes? Do you watch movies in 3D multiplexes? Do you watch movies in simple multiplexes? Do you watch movies on your home theater? You have a home theater and you watch there? Or you watch movie on online platform like Netflix or Amazon? Okay. Or you watch movies on different TV channels? Okay. Or you watch movies by downloading from illegal website like uTorrent, or you watch movies downloading from the Telegram. We all watch movies and we all watch movies from all the different mediums. But when we are talking with a person, we don't normally say that, oh, I always watch movies from Telegram. Why? Because it is considered low in our society. that medium is not considered standard. Okay, we say, oh, we went to the multiplex to watch this movie. Okay, or I watched it in Netflix. Even if you have downloaded from torrent and then you watch it there, still you will say, I've watched it on Netflix, because we want to give a positive face of ourselves, and that positive face is related with the medium, which medium you are referring to, which mediums you are using. Okay, so this is where medium affects our social standard as well as the interpretation of the message. Okay, fine. So next point is about the representation. How a person or a caste or a religion or a thing is represented in different mediums. Okay. So the use of signs to relate, depict, portray, or reproduce something perceived, sensed, imagined, or felt in some physical form is called representation. Okay. So science is basically the representation. Okay, they are not reality. But then there will be the modification to the science based on the ideology. There will be certain type of representation, not the overall representation. For example, one more definition is there: the process of recording ideas, knowledge, or message in some physical way is called representation in semiotic theory. Recording idea, knowledge, or message. So once you record, you have recorded in a particular way, then it will be considered a text, and someone will have that access to that text, right? So this is what is representation. Okay, suppose you are taking a photograph. You can take a black and white photograph, you can take different colored photographs. You can, now there are a lot of applications are available, so you can use those applications and you can modify that photograph. So by modifying, you are modifying the representations also. Okay, so what is it, how the representation affects? There was a very important school of art historians, basically feminine art historians, and they are called gorilla girls. Okay. They say they had a very important question, and they used to pose such questions during 1980s. So they said that, do women have to be naked to get into the Met Museum? Okay. Because there is a reason given that less than 5% of the artists in the modern arts science section are women. That is 95% are male. So representation of women in art section is only 5%. But 85% of the nudes are female in the museum. Okay. So women are always represented or majorly represented nude, and nude representation means something to consume. Okay, a sexual object. Okay, you want to use them as a sexual object. So your representation, the women representation, is negative, which these feminist artists were questioning. You can find on Google, they have a lot of such questions put forward. You must have seen this movie Gully Boy. So how Muslim females are represented in Indian cinema, most probably. Okay. If we are not talking about the world cinema, at least in Indian cinema, so they are normally presented in hijab. Okay, they are practicing Muslims. Okay, and they are beautiful. Okay, they are always fair. Okay, and there are a lot of stereotypes related with it. Okay, so there is a fixed stereotype available in the representations. Okay, in this film they tried to break the stereotype that this girl did not like to wear the hijab, and she was modern. Okay, she was educated, she was doing medical science. While most of the Indian films, the Muslim women are presented as someone who, the majority of films, someone who is uneducated or who is very traditional and who doesn't accept the modern ideas. Okay, so this is a kind of stereotype representation we have in our cinema. And it's not just about Muslim, about every different caste. Okay, when we do the cinema session, I will talk about the stereotypes there also. There's one more example. Okay, we all have seen this movie Kesari. This movie is presented as patriotic movies because these what we call Sikh soldiers fought against the Mughals and they won valiantly. They fought Mughals. I don't know whether they won or not, but we accepted it as a kind of patriotic film because the Sikhs are fighting the outsiders. But we did not question that the Sikhs were fighting for the East India Company. Okay, they were not fighting for India as a country. They were fighting for British rulers. Okay, so but this kind of representation is accepted by the audience because it goes with certain type of ideological belief system. Okay, and stereotypes are accepted because we have already accepted those beliefs. Few more examples. I'll give you some statistics. Okay, how women are portrayed. These statistics are basically for Hollywood, but you can compare that even if in Hollywood, which is considered progressive, you have these issues, then what will happen in the Indian system? See, in Hollywood, on screen, in top 100 films, they have studied top 500 films in the time of 2007 to 2012. So they say that 30.8% of speaking characters are women. Okay. That is 70% of speaking characters are male. Women are not given more dialogues, and that also means that they are not given important dialogues. Similarly, 28.8% of women wore sexually revealing clothes as opposed to 7% of men. Okay. So again, like in museum, here also the women are represented as the sexual objects. Similarly, 26.2% of women actors get partially naked women characters, okay, while only 9.4% of men do. Okay. So there is a big difference of ratio. And 10.7% of movies featured a balanced cast where half of the characters are female, only 10%, while 90% of the films have imbalanced cast, that is majority of the characters are males. So there are many such examples. There are other things. So average ratio of female actors to male actors is 2.25 male actor is equivalent to 1 female actor. Okay. Then a percentage of teenage females depicted with some nudity has increased. Okay, from 2007 to 2012, that is 32.5% increment. And roughly a third of female speaking characters are shown in sexually revealing attire or are partially naked. So in Hollywood, even in Hollywood, the women are mostly represented as the objects, not as the flesh and blood characters. Okay. Then in most of the cases, even in India, women are as love interest. Okay. In 76.7% of movies studied, women fulfilled only romantic function. There is no other important function in the entire movie. She is just a lover of the hero. That's all. Okay. Only 23.3% women are in lead roles. Then again, speaking characters, 7.8% are male, 29.2% are female. Working characters, 80% are male, 19% are female. Okay. So you can see the difference of representation. In news media, okay, women representative in media, only 29%, while more than 70% are male representative as a guest in the show. So they say that the kind of message they are conveying is only males can be experts, females cannot be. Only 29% females are expert guests in the news shows. Similarly, in news broadcasting, okay, see, evening broadcast, that is prime time, the most important time of the day according to media. Okay, 75% are male broadcaster, while only 25% are female. In print media, only 38% are female. In internet, 46% are female. And on wires, 38% are female. So the women is underrepresented in all the media landscape. Okay. And not only that, they are underrepresented, they are objectified, okay, in the media discourse, and that is an issue of concern. It is called representational politics. Okay, and it is not just about women. If you talk about the minorities, you will find such statistics. If you talk about a particular caste, you will find such statistics. If you talk about particular class, you'll find such statistics. I'll give you another statistics again from Hollywood, that in Hollywood and Hollywood films, only 1% are Asians. 1% characters are Asian. 79% are white, 15% are black, and Latino 2.7 is Asian, only 1.3%. Well, that is a very huge population of Asians. While Hollywood has a very big market in Asia, but the representation of Asian is very less. Now, it's not just about Asian, it's also about the black people or people of color. Okay. See, this is about academic awards or the Oscar award. So, Academy Awards for producers, 98% are white. Writers, 98% are white. Actors, 88% are white. Best director, 99% are white. Sorry, 99% are male, and 1% is female. Okay. So all these changes, okay, all these statistics is about how these categories are represented in the media and what effect, because people tend to see these things all the time, so they develop a particular kind of stereotype, a particular kind of idea about that category of people. Okay. And this is where the politics comes. Okay, it will be brainwashed. Similarly, the Asian males in Hollywood, they are always fighters. Okay. You see Bruce Lee, you see Jackie Chan, you see there was Jet Li. Okay. So they were all kung fu fighters. If there is a talk about kung fu or karate or judo, you will see the Asian character. If there is a talk about yoga, you will see Indian character. So this is how we are categorized in that country, okay, in their media. Okay. And this means we are wrongly represented. Okay. That we are not just about yoga. People say, British used to say that the India is the country of snake charmers. Okay. We are not a country of snake charmer anymore. Okay. We are technologically advanced, economically advanced country, but our recommendation and our representation is same. Okay. For example, if I give you an example, there was a time when Lagan film was sent for Oscar and it was listed in Oscar. Okay. While Rang De Basanti was sent for Oscar and it was not listed because they wanted to see only their stereotype idea of India. Okay. So they did not accept the modern India. Okay. This is the exercise that you'll have to do. I'll send you the Google link. Uh, Basically, there are 3 questions and there are options. Okay. So out of these options, you will have to select only one and write about it. Okay, not all of them. All right. So I'm keeping it open for discussion now.